Hopefully nothing serious for Owen Connolly, but Brian O'Mara, one of the most versatile players in a Tipp jersey.
On the ground it goes. Joe Caesar couldn't get it under control first time, tries second time. Andrew Ormond in there as well. Real scramble for possession. Trying to get it forward by any means necessary. Podge Delaney. A good old-fashioned pull on the ground. You love to see it. Jason Ford. Trying to get away is Sam O'Farrell. O'Farrell lets it go, and O'Farrell gets the score. Is Sam O'Farrell. O'Farrell lets it go, and O'Farrell gets the score.
Yeah, and that score created by Jason Ford's presence of mind, just put the ball across the field. Look at the strength from O'Farrell and this control. Corby or Comerford tried to get across the end just with a hook, but Sam O'Farrell has been very, very good this year. Another fine score from him.
Sam O'Farrell, or Dr. Sam O'Farrell as we'll call him in the future. He's studying medicine in Galway at the moment.
Can't call him doctor before he's a doctor.
Not yet. I said, well, we will call him. And he seems like the kind of guy who will get it done. Craig Morgan. Craig Morgan. Roland Maher. Wide.
See, Roland Maher now is actually free. Laois have pulled the player deep. So they're playing one less forward.
Cathal Dunn finds his man, an excellent puck out. Outside it goes to Jordan Walsh, who has a bit of room. And that's a really fine score by Jordan Walsh.
So this is something that Laois have done throughout the Joe McDonagh, is this puck out to midfield to half back off the shoulder. Really well executed. Super score from Jordan Walsh.
Puck out almost intercepted. Craig Morgan trying to hoover it up and does. Keeps his composure despite the presence of two Laois players, but then lets it go. Laois could be in here. It's a good ball to Mossy Keys. Mossy Keys! Good save. But collecting the breaking ball is Paddy Purcell. Purcell! Well, there was a forest of bodies back there, and Tipperary. Paddy Purcell. Purcell! Well, there was a forest of bodies back there, and Tipperary stopped it from going in. Here's Joe Caesar. Andrew Ormond breaking for Podge Delaney. Has a go and chips it over nicely.
Yeah, great pass to play from Laois in that regard. I think we're going to see the goal chance come up, but Brian O'Mara put his body on the line when Paddy Purcell had a go. But look at this flaking shot from Tomas Keys. What a great save. Reece Shelley, good job.
Good save. David Dooley, who was part of the Leinster Rugby Sub-Academy, was there when Sam Prendergast was there. David played in Croke Park last week. Sam Prendergast plays in Croke Park today. Joe Caesar. Good turnover from Laois. Nothing wrong with their work rate and battling qualities, and Jordan Walsh just pulls on that one and Paddy Purcell runs onto it. Purcell. Unlucky.
That's a shame. Paddy Purcell is very impressive in the flesh when you actually see him moving and getting the ball.
Big switch. Good catch again. It's John McGrath, who's already scored 4 goals in the championship this year. And he squeezed that one over. The ever-young McGrath family always deliver for Tipperary. They do it in hurling and football. And Camogie. Podge Delaney, closed down by John McGrath. Finds a bit of time and a bit of space. Crossfield it goes to Lee Clear. Carries the shout at Lee Clear. Cushions the ball down into that half-forward line. It's taken and shot by James Keys. Be some score if it goes over. And it has.
Another terrific example of the good play, great ball placement from Clear, and on the run off the left, superb score from James Keys. Yeah, that's glimpses of what this team can do.
Seamus Kennedy. Another dual star, has a Munster Club medal in football. Good take. He's in behind again. It's Jason Ford again. Jason Ford, saved by Dunn. Tipperary will go again. Another save. The free is given. Advantage was being played. McGrath had a goal done. Yet again, makes a fine double save.
And it is days like today. Look, we see Jason Ford, great save from Dunn. And as it comes out, body in the right place. It's days like today that give a platform for the likes of Cathal Dunn to show how good a player he is. Like, it's no accident that he's making these saves routinely again and again. But just a comment on the Tipperary puck out is going to Seamus Kennedy in that instance. Free up the sideline because Laois are playing with 5 forwards. So if you're going to play with 5 forwards, you need to mark the 6 backs. It just makes it far too easy to get the ball up the field and create goal chances.
What about this from Cathal Dunn? First from Ford, then from McGrath. He had big shoes to fill when Enda Rowland left the panel, but he has stepped up. McCarthy looking for his 4th point, which he gets.
Yeah, so far you have to say that Laois are really giving as much as they're getting for the most part. That goal separating the sides definitely, but they've put passages of play together, connected the backs and the forwards extremely well. As we see Cathal Dunn with a good ball to midfield.
Mossy Keys slides onto it, uses the wet turf to his advantage. Cody Comerford fumbles, regathers. Jordan Walsh. Great footwork by Walsh. And a one-on-one battle inside, well taken. Can he turn and burn? It's Ben Conroy, who got a goal last week in the Joe McDonagh Cup final. Aidan Corby. He was very unlucky, Aidan Corby.
Yeah, he thought he had it. Great use of the ball though in that instance from Ben Conroy. Way to look outside, man in best position. Very, very close to one.
Fantastic fetch of the ball. Wonderful work again. This time it's Alan Tynan. And now it's Jason Ford. And that's wide.
If you were to say one thing that I think has separated the teams is the aerial ability. Look at this fetch from Tynan. And again, his strength under the high ball. It's a separator between the two teams.
Alan Tynan, who won a Leinster Senior Cup in rugby with Cistercian College. Kind of hard worker that Liam Cahill likes. Unfortunately for Laois, another wide. Shelley. Breen dispossessed. Line ball for Laois. Good battling.
That puck out to the outlet man, the free man. Breen had that touch, he was away. Laois probably have to clamp down on that.
Breen, who's gone back to his roots in the full back line, intercepted now by Seamus Kennedy. And it's route 1 for Tipperary. Running after this one is John McGrath. McGrath has the possession. Good ball to Andrew Ormond. Ormond takes his point.
That is the Tipperary forward line functioning at a really high level. I love seeing this, particularly Tipperary have done this so well over the last couple of years. John McGrath looks up and in stride, Ormond receives that ball in hand from John McGrath. John McGrath taken after his older brother, Noel, well able to pick a pass.
Noel, who's on the bench today and still doing it for his county. Chris Mooney has spotted something off the ball, or maybe his team of officials have. Either way, he gives the free in for Laois.
Yeah, Robert Doyle impeding Keys as he was running to the ball.
Mossy Keys, coming into today, has scored 149 so far this year. There was some surprise when he was taken off with a few minutes to go against Kildare last week. He puts that one over the crossbar. Maybe he had an injury, you never know with these things. Shelley puts plenty of air in that. It's intercepted by David Dooley. Dooley gathers. Comes back towards Dooley. But there was just too many tip men around him, and now it's Seamus Kennedy. Spill by Kennedy. Robert Doyle. Willie Connors. In towards John McGrath. Taken well by John McGrath, who is given time and space by the Laois backline. It's Sam O'Farrell now. O'Farrell is tangled up brilliantly by Lee Clear. Corby breaking out to get there is Ben Conroy. Conroy with O'Mara breathing down his neck. Unfortunately for him, can't keep it on target.
Oh, you just love to have been a score. Lee Clear, the defending down the far end against Sam O'Farrell was incredible. They really deserved to score the far end.
That was casual from Tipperary. It almost rolled into the path of James Keys. Tidied up and Tip carried away. Joe Caesar. Andrew Ormond wants it and gets it. Ormond might have a go here. Has to go off the stick now. Ormond trying to flick it back outside to Darren McCarthy. But again, Laois turn it over. And Laois are working really hard here, Seamus.
Paddy Purcell was exceptional. How he got back there, never gave up on Ormond. Ormond is not a slouch. Great tackle from Purcell and Laois win the free. Super play. Great passage for them.
Wild use of the hurley there, and it's a free into Laois.
As you can see here, look at Paddy Purcell gets the hand in. He almost snatched it out of the air himself. And Comerford came away. Great play from Laois. Especially Paddy Purcell to track that all the way. I just love as a back, give out to my forwards for not tracking back. So that is, I have been quieted today.
I'm sure you'll find something to give out about. Mossy Keys. Over it goes. Second score for him. Laois hanging on in there. Shelley to O'Mara, back to Shelley. That's a launcher. Will that go all the way? No, it'll drop in or around the square. McGrath's up for it, Ford's up to it. Almost came McCarthy's way, but Laois have secured the possession and secured it really well. That's Fiacre Fennell, who's changed the footwear for this game. Normally wears red boots, but I imagine, given the conditions, had to go with different studs or whatever. Fiacre backing up. David Dooley in space he wanted, but instead he goes a little bit longer to Corby. Corby dispossessed by Robert Doyle, and then it's swept up by Joe Caesar. Here's John McGrath. A delicious score by John McGrath, his second of the game.
Great pick by Joe Caesar on the spin and then the hand pass off. John McGrath is a good man to stand and strike, but all the good work done for him by his halfbacks.
Again, just a little bit wild with the hurley. Referee gives the free in. Always have to be careful with the contact of the head.
Yeah, and it was Ronan Maher, right hand to helmet. So that unfortunately is going to earn him a yellow card.
When the contact is minimum, you'll get away with it, but you are walking a dangerous line when you make contact with the head.
Yeah, and we know that now. At least that has been well established, and that's good. I would say the players give out about inconsistencies in refereeing. If we've got contact with the head these days, you're in the book, and I think we all know the story. It's good.
Mossy Keys, this is not an easy one to take on. Well, he made it look easy, and it's his third free.
After 21 minutes, I would say Laois again, they're refusing to let Tipperary slip away. That 7-point margin, they can maintain it or reduce it before half-time.
Just got away from Ryan Mullaney, but Jordan Walsh is there to help out. He's popping up on the left and right, but then it's stolen back by Alan Tynan. Tynan wide. Such a hard-running player, Tynan. Speaking of hard-running players, Seamus Kennedy, but he's turned over. Aidan Corby. Keys comes out to meet it. Tipperary just had too many bodies back there. Breen. Willie Connors. Connors dropping it in on top of Darren McCarthy. McCarthy with Ford running off him, hangs on to it. Goes for his first point from play and doesn't get it. Off the woodwork it goes. Done. Ronan Maher trying to get it under control, and he does. Had to fight for it, but he doesn't mind the fight. Willie Connors, just too many bodies around him. Here's Keys. Paddy Purcell.
He leaned all the way back and he struck that. You knew when he was hitting it that he was after getting out of rhythm.
Rhys Shelley goes direct. 3-on-3 inside. In fact, now it's 3-on-4.
And that's Rhys Shelley into the breeze, lads. So he's dropping that on the 14 against that breeze that's there.
Podge Delaney wants it back. David Dooley. Well taken. James Keys. Podge Delaney.
Yeah, snatched it. Yeah. But again, Laois willing to hold on to it, play it around. They're not afraid of Tipperary around the middle, and they're trying to use the numbers advantage they have there.
Tip going direct a lot today. Dara McCarthy, Jason Ford, Dara McCarthy. Very good work by Donncha Hartnett, who was a late replacement. Wasn't named in the team to start, but was included late on. Inside by Fiachra Fennell. Letting it go is Donncha Hartnett. And that's a fine score.
That's a fair score. Great work by Fiachra Fennell and getting that ball off to the late replacement in Hartnett. Great strike. John McGrath almost got the hook in, just a fraction too late. Great score from Laois.
He's been around a while. Hartnett featured in the Leinster Minor final of 2013, was there in 2019 for that famous game here against the Dubs. Ball breaks for Sam O'Farrell. O'Farrell blocked down, very casual. Dara McCarthy tried to touch it back into the path of O'Farrell. Podge Delaney is there. He couldn't hang on to it. Andrew Orman took the break and then took the score.
Yeah, good clean up. Great clean up in the end by Tipperary, but what a block by Ryan Mullaney. Genie Mac. Great finish by Ormond, but Sam O'Farrell will be disappointed he couldn't get it up and over the half-back, Ryan Mullaney.
To the skies we go. Don't forget Roscommon and Cork coming up at 4:15. Laois trying to get clean possession. It just gets away from Keys. Keys lost out. Can he keep it in play? Tynan tangling with Jordan Walsh. Jordan Walsh does brilliantly. Tynan's still going for it. Aidan Corby trying to shoot it out to Jordan Walsh, but he couldn't do so. And Tip have got the possession. Here's Seamus Kennedy. Dara McCarthy. Popped up, good running. Was it a throw? It was a throw. And a little bit of afters.
Wow, that was some hurling from Tynan, from Seamus Kennedy right on the line as Dara McCarthy slides here. Yeah. Probably a good decision from the referee. Very difficult to get the ball away that fast when the option is coming to you that quick. But how Ellen Tynan got the ball off the ground here at the sideline, I'm still trying to figure it out.
Podge Delaney's going to go for this, judging by the look of it. Picked up a little bit of grass, flung it in the air.
He has whatever wind is there.
His debut year was that year in 2019. This one's going to drop inside. And it was almost taken by Ben Conroy. Looking to get it on the second attempt. Has to go outside to Keys. Keys, good ball to the other Keys. The Keys cousins combining, and it ends in a score. It's Mossy Keys' first from play, and it was made by his cousin James.
That's super play from the inside forwards, but Ben Conroy, that's two super grabs that he's made now in a row. So he's making his presence felt in the aerial ball for Laois. Great job.
Sam O'Farrell galloping forward. I beg your pardon, that's Robert Doyle. And it's a point. A good score by the corner back.
You just can't see enough of the ball transfer between Sam O'Farrell and Robert Doyle. Look, just watch this. That's so hard to do. Moving player, moving target, and great finish by Doyle. Cornerbacks are people too, they can score. That's great.
It's about time. I was going to say we get recognised, but this one's launched by Dara McCarthy. And it's a good score.
Yeah, good play now, I'd say. Tipperary, that's a score from play from McCarthy. Tipperary getting on top now. Laois needs to stem the flow.
I'm sure Noel Connors was delighted when you said cornerbacks are people too. Jordan Walsh blocked down. Alan Tynan got in the way of it. Robert Doyle, who got that score a couple of moments ago, harassed by Mark Dowling. Referee gives the free in. Dowling rewarded for his hard work.
Yeah, the fight is there with Laois, and they're refusing to lie down. Look at this great block, and then, yeah, referee probably adjudged Doyle to kind of had gotten rid of the hurley, but probably came loose in the contact. So Dowling's probably looking to get the free there, but great reward for great work.
Dowling from Camross, one of the powerhouses of Laois hurling. Keys also from Camross. Keys does what he needs to do. Liam Cahill, Tipperary manager, says today is all about ensuring they get to the quarter-final. Galway awaiting the winners of this game. Limerick awaiting the winners of the later game between Dublin and Kildare. Joe Caesar, waiting for him was David Dooley. Intercepted brilliantly from Mossy Keys. Mossy Keys goes wide.
I hate to get it up and over the players in front of him, so he just lost a bit of accuracy in that. But great work. Look, Joe Caesar gets the ball away. Great stuff from Mossy Keys. Unlucky with the last shot.
Wides affecting Laois again. I suppose the good news and the positive way of looking at that is that they are getting shots away. Fiacre Fellon taking on his man, giving it inside to Ryan Mullaney. Corby going from deep. Finds Conroy. Just fumble it there, gave Tipperary the chance to surround him. Still Conroy has the possession. A little bit isolated now, battling there with Michael Breen. Somehow a Laois player escapes with it. That player was James Keys. Here's Mark Dowling. Dowling. Crossfield towards Mossy Keys. Intercepted by Robert Doyle. Good defending by Doyle. Great work by Cody Comerford. Did not let Darren McCarthy get anything easy there, and Comerford wins the free.
Yeah, good use of the ball by Laois. They know they're outnumbered inside. They're not hitting long direct ball because Ben Conroy, every time he gets the ball, he's got two Tipperary defenders on him. They're working the ball across the field. Robert Doyle did well in that instance, but Cody Comerford, tough job with Darren McCarthy inside there. He did well that time.
Podge Delaney. Looks like it has the legs, but I don't think it has the accuracy. No, it veers off to the keeper's left and wide.
Laois should be disappointed with the number of wides they've had. Means they've had the opportunities.
Just like last week, especially in the first half. That's a fantastic catch by Tynan. Tynan trying to get away. Advantage is coming, and now the free is given.
Yeah, it's just so noticeable. Look at this. Protects the hand, puts the hurley back. That's a coaching moment right there. Very little for Jordan Walsh to do, only try and slow him down, because a free run on goal is not an option.
Darren McCarthy, who is on 4 points from place ball so far, 3 frees and a 65. He's got 1 from play as well. And no surprise, pops that one over.
Very rugby kicker-esque kind of approach to free taking. Very methodical, Darren McCarthy.
Dunn looking for Keys and finding him. Keys had Purcell with him, but he takes it on himself, and fantastic work from Robert Doyle. Tipperary come again, surging through the middle. Andrew Ormond sticks it over, his third.
Yeah, just a quick reminder from Tipperary that they are by far the better team. Great play from Robert Doyle to dispossess Keys.
David Dooley. Dooley into the corner, looking for Conroy. Goes over his head, well taken by Brian O'Mara. O'Mara's foul, free out.
Great stuff. Robert Doyle tracks it. Beautiful touch, and then Seamus Kennedy is the one that was released away. But that's great concentration. Not a sniff of a free.
Tommy Fitzgerald, the Laois manager. It's been a tough year for them, even though they got to the Joe McDonagh Cup final. Shelley. Breaks towards Ford. Ford couldn't take it cleanly, but he's still after it. Gets it outside. He was looking for John McGrath, but Laois intercepts, and it was left behind, but Lee Clear picks it back up. Then it's turned over. John McGrath swallowed up whole by the Laois defence. They get the shot away anyway. Have they got the point? No.
The only shot Willie Connors has missed today, I'd say. But very, very close call there. Jason Ford was in behind that breaking ball.
Laois from a tight angle. Milani off the woodwork. They're very unlucky. Michael Breen tidies it up. Craig Morgan. Tip working it through the lines. Then Willie Connors goes a little bit more direct, looking for Jason Ford and finding him, but Ford couldn't make it stick. Laois making a change, and it's Podge Delaney who's going out. That's a big, big loss. Down the line it goes from Milani. Breaks kindly for Tipperary and Roland Marr. Good take by Sam O'Farrell. O'Farrell. Dara McCarthy gets away from Dara McCarthy. He'll have a second go. Dara McCarthy battling there with Diarmuid Conway and giving away the free.
Yeah, I thought it was fair enough. McCarthy he'd pulled it early a few seconds before that, so.
Well, one must presume that that's an injury, and judging by the way Podge Delaney is kind of ambling off, that's exactly what's happening. But coming in for Laois now is Tom Cuddy.
Yeah, it was a disappointing way to end the year. Going off the field injured is a tough way to finish it.
Yep.
Hoping for his club's sake he recovers quick.
Tom Cuddy is pacey and likes to carry ball from the full-back / half-back line. Keys. He's full of running, full of effort, and full of skill.
Super pace. He knows he's been trailed for the hook, so you've got to delay it, you've got to shorten the swing. Great finish, Tomas Keys. Definitely one of the key Laois men to stand up to Tip today.
Certainly is. Andrew Ormond can't get away from the new man, Tom Cuddy. Falls into the path of Jason Ford. Having a run, Joe Caesar. He was on the cusp of too many steps, but got away with it. Here's Willie Connors, who scores his fourth.
4 points from midfield is always a good day, but in the first half it's pretty good.
So Tipperary leading by a distance, as you would expect. Seamus, what have you made of it so far?
Yeah, no, it's a contest, and I can think Laois can absolutely be proud of themselves. Some standout performances from them. For me, you know, they've really put in a respectable show today.
Half-time score in the preliminary All-Ireland quarter-final. It is Tipperary 118, Laois 12 points. When we come back, analysis of the first half.
Ayr, proud sponsors of the GAA Hurling All-Ireland Senior Championship.
You're looking up, it's bright ahead. The road might be
How we use electricity can be smarter, cleaner and greener. Making your world brighter. Electric Ireland.
Don't settle for narrow signal. Widen your Wi-Fi with new Air Wi-Fi. Get our longest range Wi-Fi signal, powered by Wi-Fi 7. For all those hard to reach spaces. Air for all.
At the Irish Independent, we don't just report the news. We tell the stories written all over Ireland. After all, each struggle, triumph, high and low, leaves a mark that lasts. We live and breathe the stories, written all over Ireland. Irish Independent.
The Harvey Norman Big Sale is now on. Enjoy barista-style coffee at home with the Nespresso Virtuo Next. 5 cup sizes with one-touch simplicity. Now $149. Or enjoy your morning coffee effortlessly with the Nespresso Virtuo Pop. Just one touch delivers rich flavour. Available in candy pink or classic black for $59.95. Plus claim 50 free pods and 2 free travel mugs with any Nespresso machine. And with our best price guarantee, why shop anywhere else? But hurry, the Harvey Norman Big Sale must end soon.
Go!
It's all heating up now.
Oh, it is, yeah.
Now you're welcome back to O'Moore Park in Portlaoise here, and don't forget we've plenty of live action to come a little later. Roscommon and Cork in the All-Ireland Series Football Championship. That's a 4:15 throw-in, and then it's 2 huge games, Galway and Armagh. 6:30 throw-in time for that one, and also we bring you live coverage of Dublin against Derry. All of that coming your way on GA Plus between now and the end of the evening. Plenty to look forward to and plenty to look back on here. An eventful first half in Portlaoise. The rain, as you can see, is coming down here at O'Moore Park in Portlaoise. But Bubbles, is it fair to say Tipp didn't have it all their own way in that first half?
No, they didn't. Look, Tipp started very well. They started strong in the first maybe 10 minutes, and then Laois came back into it. You know, I suppose their shooting is probably leaving them down again in the first half. I think they've 7 wides already. You know, I suppose it's down from 11 from last week. But yeah, Tipp started well, but Laois came into it there in the last 15 minutes, and they're starting to make a game of it, even though there's 7-8 points in the difference.
You mentioned Tipp's fast start. Let's have a look at it here. It was epitomised, I suppose, by the Jason Ford goal, but Noel, they got off to an absolute flyer, Tipp.
Yeah, they did, and I think within the first 53 seconds or 54 seconds, they had 2 points on the board. And I think it was the intensity that they brought early on, which we already spoke with Richie and Bubble, spoke about it pre-game, and the importance of it for Tipperary. So once they got on the ball, they were very mindful of the fact to try and, you know, bring that intensity. And great scores from Willie Connors. I think he got 3 points in the first kind of 5 or 6 minutes, and that kind of set the tone.
He was left in plenty space though, Richie.
Yeah, and that, to be honest, that's been a feature of the game right through. On the Tipperary side and on the Laois side. Now Laois have gone with a sweeper after about 15 or 16 minutes, and that has worked quite well for them. I think they're probably on top since then, certainly on the scoreboard. But you just can't give players like this that much space, and like Jason Ford shouldn't really get a shot off there with the amount of people that are coming in to tackle him. So it made it quite challenging. But fair play to Laois. It looked a bit ominous now after the really fast start that Tipperary got, which is exactly what nobody wanted. But they've really come back into this game and broken even definitely in the last 20 minutes.
Tipp raced into a 1-3 to no score lead, but Laois came roaring back into it. No.
Yeah, they did, absolutely. And like Paddy Purcell for me over the last decade has been one of the standout players for Laois, and I would actually argue that he would probably start on most teams. His work rate is incredible, and unfortunately, because he's so good, we actually see him back the field so much. So even though he's named at 12, he spends a lot of his time going between, we'll say, midfield and up the field. But here we can see it. This is the intensity where Laois kind of brought their game and started picking a couple of pockets of Tipperary, which generally we don't see that often. But again, lovely long distance shooting, a couple inside here from James Keys, lovely over the shoulder, and not an easy skill to get across either.
Tipp could be perhaps a little further in front. Cathal Dunn has made a couple of great saves.
Yeah, again, coming on from last week after his unbelievable double save, Nicky Quaid-esque. He's made some brilliant saves. But like as the lads have said, like Laois are making a fight. I think just from the inside line, I think their movement on the inside line is absolutely brilliant. Full forward there, Ben Conroy is causing Mikey Breen big trouble there, and Brian O'Mara when he goes into him. Their movement is brilliant. Mossy Keys is going well out in the half-forward line as well. So from a Laois perspective, even though they're coming in here with kind of low on confidence, after the first 10 minutes, it took them 10 minutes to get into the game. Since then, as Richie said, they have played well. Now, the breeze is there was no breeze really in the first half. In the second half, I think it's going to go with Laois. But look, they've made a game of it. We're coming up here expecting a big Tip win. It's not that at the moment, and Laois will be happy enough in the dressing room at half time.
Well, at half-time, Tipperary scored 118. 113 of it so far has come from play from Tipperary, and for Laois, 8 of their 12 scores from play as well. Still a gam test, you might say. We'll be hoping that Laois don't fade like they did in the second half the last day. We'll find out very soon. Stay with us.
Lash of the ash. Not as fun when you're on the other side of the hurley, let me tell you.
Where there's hurling, there's Centra.
What brings us out for our county, year after year after year, that stirs such passion in our hearts and makes the pride flow through our veins? It's our county. It's our people. It's in our blood.
Ready?
Hi, Ada. See special packs for details and register online today. Kellogg's GAA Cool Camps. Come and play.
The Harvey Norman Big Sale is now on. Enjoy barista-style coffee at home with the Nespresso Virtuo Next. 5 cup sizes with one-touch simplicity. Now $149. Or enjoy your morning coffee effortlessly with the Nespresso Virtuo Pop. Just one touch delivers rich flavour. Available in candy pink or classic black for $59.95. Plus claim 50 free pods and 2 free travel mugs with any Nespresso machine. And with our best price guarantee, why shop anywhere else? But hurry, the Harvey Norman Big Sale must end soon.
Go! Centra has all the fresh food you need to chase it! Chase it, Fenton! Sorry, right. So if you're absolutely weak with the hunger, eat him, Michael! Eat him! Where was I? Centra's delicious egg muffins. They're, tasty hurling.
Where there's hurling, there's Centra.
At Comfort Keepers, we believe every person deserves to feel joy, connection and purpose. Our home care services are about much more than daily support. Our care teams across the country work with people like Yvonne, a proud GAA fanatic, to help her live life her way around the people and moments and memories that matter the most. Comfort Keepers have been providing these services for over 20 years, bringing care, joy and connection into homes and communities. Visit comfortkeepers.ie or call us today.
Right. Match Saturday. Recovery Sunday. Gym Monday.
Johnny B.
Lee?
What are you doing in my bath?
Saving a few bob in the energy. You know yourself.
Man, just switch to Board Gosh Energy. That'll save you a few quid.
I'll keep that in mind.
Save up to €822 on dual fuel with the Smart Weekend plan for Board Gosh Energy. Have you room for one more, lads?
Ayr, proud sponsors of the GAA Hurling All-Ireland Senior Championship.
Now you're welcome back here to O'Moore Park in Portlaoise, where we're at half-time. Bubbles O'Dwyer seems to be the most popular man on the sideline here, lads.
He's charged the young fellas there for autographs.
There's a lot of tip young lads around here. They wouldn't exactly want to talk to Richie.
We rang all those lads beforehand to call over, make them look popular.
But just going back to it, we saw it there, Paddy Purcell making his 120th appearance for Laois. You touched on it earlier, Noel, about his first half performance, 2 points from long range. There's been a couple of standout players for Laois in that first half.
Yeah, and I think that Conroy as well, that Bubbles mentioned, I thought he was actually a handful, because the two lads will probably give her a better assessment than I will, but when you're inside on your own and you have a goalie behind you, which most backs can play it behind, as in play the body and leave the ball in behind, like that's difficult. But you also have, I think they had Rona Mara time sweeping in front of him, which again is a big unit to try and get around. But in fairness to him, like, he was incredibly effective, very smart, as in he was down the sideline here. He knew he wasn't going to have the legs on Brian O'Mara. He turned back and popped the ball back to James here. James
He's winning
Duggan.
hard ball as well,
Yeah,
too. No? Like,
absolutely.
High ball. Like, it's hardest skill in the game, especially as a forward when you're being tackled and they're trying to stop you from gaining possession. So,
and especially with Tipp, because Tipp are very good in the air, like
absolutely,
traditionally.
yeah, absolutely. But finishing, maybe just they haven't actually led to anything. He's been crowded out once or twice. He got hooked the first time. So maybe if they could feed off him a little bit more, as you mentioned. I think Sean Keys got one of his scores which fed off him. So if they could do that a little bit more.
Yeah, he's doing well and showing for the ball and winning it. It's just there's nobody close enough to help him. So there's no point Ben Conroy winning the ball and then being all alone then with 2 or 3 Tipp defenders around him. If Laois can get someone close to him that he can pop the ball off, like Mossy Keys, for example, if he could get a small bit closer to Ben Conroy, Mossy Keys could come out with another 3 or 4 points here. It's just Ben Conroy is just being crowded out when he gets the ball.
It's probably the consequence, though, of playing very deep, as in Paddy Purcell, the Fennel, and coming back as well. So they probably went with kind of 2 sweepers at times, just to try and stop the rot early on, because Tipp were so dominant in the first few minutes that they went with more players back. And when he wins the ball inside, there's just nobody around him within 30-40 yards.
They always say that the first 10 minutes is key. It's absolutely key for Laois here, is it, Richie, in the second
Sure,
half?
look, I mean, it's highly unlikely that Laois are going to be able to keep this up for the full duration of the game. Just the physical. You think of the pathway that Tipperary have had to here. Like, anyone who's carrying any sort of a knock or anyway tired is being rested, and they will flood the bench with 5 more new lads who'll be trying to impress. Whereas from a Laois perspective, those guys have had a very hard week and they've put up a really good battle. And let's just hope that they have another 35 minutes that they can do the same thing.
Yeah, I would imagine with Laois as well, like coming off last Sunday, I saw there at half time a lot of their subs are doing a pretty rigorous warm up. So I presume from a Tommy Fitzgerald point of view that he'll get them all on. Look, at the end of the day, Laois aren't expected to win this. You want to give the other panel members time on the pitch as well. The lads that played last week, they're getting tired. Let's whip them off and give lads some game time here as well.
What Liam Cahill have learned from the first half?
It's a difficult one.
It's more about ruling lads out than ruling
to be
lads
honest.
in,
Is it at this stage? Yeah.
And it's also given opportunities. Like Ronan was at wing back there for a lot of the time. We traditionally see him at centre back, you know. And even like Alan Tynan got caught a few times, and it was rustiness, I'm assuming, from hurting his hamstring against Clare in the round robin. So there's probably benefits and also some losses where players potentially aren't playing to the standard that Liam.
I suppose Seamus Kennedy coming in, he's been very prominent in the first half. Willie Connors has 4 points scored. He's been in and out of the team. Alan Tynan has been quiet, but he's back from a hamstring injury. I presume Alan Tynan will be whipped off now after 5 minutes, just trying to hold him back for next week. But Seamus Kennedy and Willie Connors and Joe Caesar has played okay as well. They're the 3 lads that are pushing the lads that are currently on the team to get a position.
Laois back out for the second half. No sign of Tipp as of yet. Is that a sign?
I don't think so. It's more so of a timing issue. I'd say Laois just want to get out here, get the second half played, and give a good account of themselves and move on. And you know, look, they're not going to be concentrating on next year yet, but they want to forget about last week and this week now after today.
And Richie, from a Laois point of view, obviously last 35 minutes you would assume of championship for them, but for Tipperary, is it a case, as you say, of continuing to play yourself onto Liam Cahill's mind?
Yeah, or at the very least don't play yourself off of it. And I often find with games like this, like if you're expected to be winning well and you're expected to be dominating your position, you sure as hell better be doing it. You know, I don't think he'll read too much into Willie Connors getting 4 points on his own from the middle of the field. I think it's more a case of if someone is really struggling where they shouldn't be struggling, he'll read more into the likes of that than anything else. But part of me thinks he probably has most of his team picked for next week already, and he's just trying to maybe find a few alternative options.
Like, you go back to the 4 weeks off, you get a lot done in 4 weeks. It's kind of like your traditional, like, take out the new version of what we're talking about at hurling. It's like your Munster Championship where you play one game, you could go into a Munster final, so it gives you that breathing space. So I'm assuming they use it as a mini camp where they looked at more tactical stuff. They probably got lads, as Bubbles said, back fit, put more game time into fellas. So like that 4 week block was really important for Tipp. And it's probably not really seen here. We'll hopefully see it next week.
What are you looking for in the second half, though, Bubbles?
I suppose he's looking for a game, I'd say.
He's looking for more goals.
I don't think so, Richie. But I think apart from
pair of white shoes,
apart from the goal, I don't think Tipp have created too much of a goal chance. Do you know? And look, against Clare they got 4. You know, against Waterford they only got the 1. But you'd be hoping that they create a couple of more goal chances. Something that was really prominent in the first half, and Richie commented there while we were watching it, is they're using the crossfield ball a lot. You know, so that's probably not something that we've seen. Now, obviously they do it, but they seem to be doing it most balls that they got in the first half there. So, but I think creating a couple of goal chances and trying to get a couple of goals in the second half.
Well, Tipp are out for the second half. Anyone see a shock here?
No.
Okay. Stone silence here. Let's hope there's no stone silence in the commentary box as we rejoin Oisín and Seamus.
Thank you very much, Liam. We were just wondering if we can get cut in on whatever deal the lads have for the White Runners. Seamus, you're not on camera today, but you brought the Dark Runners. You're the only one who was practical.
I tried to tell him. I tried to be practical, lads. Can't be taking care of them all my life, but sure, that's those boys.
They'll only learn by doing. Tipperary against Laois. And what we expect will be the final 35 minutes of this year's championship for Laois. But in hurling, you never know. I'll go back to it again. 2019 against Dublin here was a bit of a surprise. So it is relatively familiar territory to Laois.
Well, it's a free shot for Laois. The second half, the first 10-15 minutes is give everything you got, because the off-season is long.
Purcell. It's a bright start to the second half.
Talking about a statement of intent from Purcell, really stamping his authority on the game early.
And just to remind you that just before half-time, Podge Delaney went off. He was replaced by Tom Cuddy. That was a huge loss for Laois. But no doubt Cuddy will seize his chance or attempt to do so. Tipperary will want to stifle whatever uprising Laois are trying to manage early. But again, Laois battling. Malani was in there, but Sam O'Farrell takes it. Dara McCarthy had to go backwards because there was nothing on forwards. Ronan Maher. Good ball into the forward line. Running off is Jason Ford, but John McGrath hangs on to it. Instead goes to Joe Caesar. Caesar can't keep a hold of it. Again, ferocious tackling by Laois. Here's Tom Cuddy. Lets that sitter long to Keys. Great running off Keys by David Dooley. Dooley flicked outside. Good ball. It's a good ball to be followed by a good point. No, unfortunately for Laois, no, it's not.
Yeah, it's just good play from Laois, though. They're fending back. Joe Caesar couldn't get the ball to hand, and the way they methodically worked the ball up the field, just a shot let him down at the end from Keys, but still great play.
Shelley goes direct. Who's going to break to? Breaks kindly for Sam O'Farrell, and that's a nice, tidy goal by O'Farrell, who tucks it away.
Such a good finish from Sam O'Farrell. And again, that dangerous looped run off of the break, picks it up, great angle to take. But just look at the way he plays it low onto the wet ground. Nothing Cottle Dunn could do about that. Great finish by Sam O'Farrell.
Well, it had to be good to be done, and it was. Tipperary's second goal coming from O'Farrell. The first came from Ford early on. Malani breaks away and comes to James Keys. Nice pick up by James Keys. Keys trying to get away from Michael Breen, which is not easy to do. Running after the loose one is Joe Caesar. Caesar has the possession somehow. Ronan Maher. Rhys Shelley. Shelley looking for Darren McCarthy and finding him. Was he pushed by Cody Comerford? He was. When your hands are on the back, even if the contact is minimal, you're always inviting the referee to blow his whistle.
Yeah, that goal. Now see if actually he'd stayed on his feet, he was actually standing him up. It's just that his momentum took him through. But that goal is after deflating Laois, because they were playing very well. They were, after starting the second half, extremely well. Deflating goal from Sam O'Farrell, and now Darren McCarthy has a chance to extend that lead.
I think it's fair to say he's from a traditional club, Tumuvara. They've produced some players over the years, and he's another one off the production line. Heavy rain shower at half-time. That is stopped in time for the second half. John McGrath doesn't stop. Here's Ormond. What's he thinking? Goal or point? He's thinking pass. Nice footwork. And another goal. Jason Ford with his second.
Great stuff. Again, John McGrath has started everything, not satisfied with a point, looking for the major. Jason Ford, super finish. Great finish into the far corner. Clear, couldn't help it.
It was the jinx that he gave there and kind of made the Laois defender.
It's just a bit of class,
Yeah.
absolute class that Jason Ford possesses.
Ben Conroy, Tipperary have the possession again, and now they've given away the free.
Just small push in the back there on Conroy. Be good to answer those 2 quick goals with a point for Laois, stem the bleeding.
Just to confirm, Johnny Ryan has come on for the second half. Loves to move about the pitch, very quick. Kind of goes anywhere from the full back line to midfield. Another All-Ireland under-20 winner as Laois chip away at the lead through Keys. Tommy Fitzgerald, he would have been happy enough at the start, but then 2 goals conceded and back to square one. Good running by Caesar. Good take by Ormond. Tried to pop it up to Darren McCarthy, intercepted almost by Aidan Corby, just couldn't quite hang on to it. Over the ball now is Hartnett. Gets it to his teammate, making a run off the ball is Tom Cuddy. Couldn't get it to him, but now he has. And again, just bobbled away from him. Great tidying up by Willie Connors. Picks out Darren McCarthy. Darren McCarthy's going to go for it despite the angle. And that's why he went for it, because he's well capable of landing those kind of scores all day long. His second from play.
Yeah, great job steadying himself just before he struck it, just taking that extra half second.
Dooley. The intended target was Keys, but it was intercepted, and Tipperary just dust themselves off and go again. What's he got here? Jason Ford. Ford. Doesn't quite make it this time.
Defended very well there by Cuddy, the way he was able to stand him up, not give him the shoulder inside to turn. And when Ford had to actually eventually strike, he struck under pressure. Good job, Tom Cuddy.
Fiacre Fennell. Liam Cahill will be, I'm sure, happy with what he's seen so far as Paddy Purcell lets one go. He's going to drop. Don't think that was the intention. Laura Maher. Darren McCarthy. So pacey, so bright. Had Sam O'Farrell with him, but was surrounded by white jerseys. And much to Laois's credit, they've turned it over, and galloping forward is Lee Clear.
Just died. Ryan Mullaney, great strike. He probably even had space to run into it, but that's a long way to run. And to hit the ball on the run that well, just died at the end.
Intercepted by Corby, but he just couldn't make it stick, and Tipperary work it through the lines. And here's Craig Morgan. Willie Connors pops it out towards Joe Caesar. Caesar. Good score.
And this is a man that has really grown into the game in the second half. Joe Caesar has really come on strong in the first 10 minutes here in the second half. He's been very influential, winning ball, shutting down attacks, and he adds a super score on top of everything else.
Played under Jamie Wall and Podge Collins and Mary I last year, that famous Fitzgibbon Cup win. Intercepting is David Dooley. Dooley trying to get away. He's got half of Tipperary following him though. And a good flick in there from Brian O'Mara. Willie Connors. Was he fouled? He'll keep going anyway, Johnny Ryan. Referee does give the free.
Yeah, David Dooley looked like he'd broken through there, but such patience. Seamus Kennedy is so experienced, so patient. He knew the ball would have to be thrown up at some stage, and Dooley couldn't go any further. David Dooley's done well today. He reminds me of a Laois stalwart and Matthew Whelan. Same red helmet, same powerful physique, but yeah, when you've got Ronan Maher and Seamus Kennedy tracking you, it's very, very hard to get a ball away.
Dooley was made the captain this year, despite his young years, but you can see why. Speaking of young, here's Darragh McCarthy. Wide.
Take him off.
High standards.
At this stage, though, Liam Cahill has to be thinking about, okay, who do I need to mind here for the weeks to come? The game is won.
And it will be Galway next up for Tip. Ronan Maher doesn't even put it into the hands. Sam O'Farrell for Ormond, who has a bit of space. He's got John McGrath with him. He's got Jason Ford inside. It's John McGrath. It's off the woodwork. And it left it rattling.
That's what you get. You come to O'Moore Park and you get the widest crossbar in the country. John McGrath absolutely rattled it. Just look at the ball inside. Ormond, the ball to him was incredible. Oh, it actually hit the blue spot right in the middle of the crossbar. Great strike for ball. Just 3 inches lower is what he wanted. But that's Tip playing at like high level, high execution. That ball into Ormond was just exquisite and set him away.
Lee Clear intercepted by the stick of Sam O'Farrell, but fell into the path of Ryan Mullaney. Laois into the corner, and Ben Conroy comes bursting out to take it. Good take. Conroy taking on O'Mara. Conroy a little bit isolated. Corby coming over to help out. Conroy goes crossfield looking for Keys, but it's 2-on-1 in favour of Tipperary. Johnny Ryan is there. Keys fighting away anyway. And Johnny Ryan just shepherded him towards the end line and ensured that his team got the possession. And here's Alan Tynan, who gives to Craig Morgan.
You could really see Tip up to the gear. They're just defending really well. No quarter given here.
Ball breaks. Free out for Laois. Good work by Donncha Hartnett.
Yeah, as I look at Andrew Ormond there, how impressive has he been this year? And for Tipperary just to take the pressure off of Jake Morris, Andrew Ormond is doing really well.
James Keys. Rhys Shelley. Nothing too complicated about Rhys Shelley and what he did there, just long and direct. And it breaks for Tipperary. Shot is smothered, trying to tidy it up as Paddy Purcell. Purcell bottled up on his way out of defence. Spills it, and here is Caesar. Willie Connors. Over it goes. Willie Connors with his 5th from play of the game.
Superb from Willie Connors to clean that up. Paddy Purcell was put under such pressure. He'd worked really, really well to get back there and clean up that ball. But Tipperary's forwards, they really are. There's no let up here. They're intent on seeing this game out, and that's a good sign for Liam Cahill.
Well, the bench is being emptied. Peter McGarry is coming in for Ronan Maher, and coming in for Andrew Ormond, who's had a fine game, is Oisin O'Donoghue, a man we mentioned before the match. Another bright young talent. They're only getting stronger, Tipperary. Whether or not that makes you happy or sad as a Limerick man, I don't know, but it is the fact.
No, but this is the benefit of the green shoots of underage hurling. Like, this is what every county needs when we talk about development. You know, Tipperary, Cork have had great success in the under-20s. Limerick have had success in the past, so it's a pathway to competitive senior teams.
Oisin O'Donoghue, who is man of the match in the Munster under-20 final on Tipperary's way to the All-Ireland title victory under Brendan Cummins. And Paddy Stapleton, part of that backroom team as well. Paddy from Bursalee, an All-Ireland winner himself with the county and Munster Club Championship winner with the club.
I'd love to have Paddy Stapleton as a coach for me.
Mark Dowling. It trickles wide. A really shrewd observer of the game, Paddy Stapleton.
A great teammate and a great lad to have around. Don't know what he's teaching the youth though.
How to hurl. Rhys Shelley. Inside to Brian O'Mara. O'Mara looking for John McGrath. 2 around John McGrath. Still got something on it, but the numbers tell in the end. That's Cody Comerford. But McGrath just makes it stick inside. And now it falls to Darragh McCarthy. Darragh McCarthy bottled up by Lee Clear, but gets a bit of space. Looking for Sam O'Farrell. O'Farrell scoops it forward. Has he given himself too much to do? Cahill Dunn read the danger really well. Strong bat down by Craig Morgan, now taken up by Joe Caesar. Caesar back to Morgan. Morgan! It has the legs. Accuracy is something it does not have.
That was almost a great score, but that all came from the work rate of the Tipperary forwards, as we see. as we see John Lennon come onto the field. That was just an exhibition from Darren McCarthy and John McGrath on how to work and how to turn over ball. That's the kind of thing that you see from high-level senior inter-county teams that are have ambitions for Liam McCarthy.
John Lennon coming in today is not going to be a memorable day for Laois. He was another one of those who was part of that day in 2019. Made that goal-saving tackle against the Dubs. Such a hard worker, John Lennon. Here's Mossy Keys. And that's a wonderful score.
He's just been excellent today, Mossy Keys. Like, whether it's winning ball from puckouts, the ball is just sticking to him. Turn onto the hurley, back onto his left and right. He scored on both sides today. Really promising player.
Sam O'Farrell. Tipper in the form for it now. But I don't think Liam Cahill will be overly happy with that use of possession.
That is exactly the kind of pass that gets you a bollocking, whether it comes off or not. So here he's got a chance to make up.
Sam O'Farrell, don't get yourself given out to. He does get fouled, and that's a free in.
Yeah, hopefully we'll forget the previous one. Yeah, that's good.
Managers
news for Sam.
never forget. They never forget those flicks. And there's a man who won't forget, Liam Cahill. What a coach he is.
Yeah, he's had really tough days now. Last year was bleak for Liam Cahill, and there was a huge amount of pressure coming into the league this year. He blooded a lot of players, and Tipper very competitive because they went for the league early. So he has handled that pressure admirably, and Tipper looking like a good team, not just on today's form, but even throughout the Munster round robin.
Aaron Dunphy coming in, captain last year. Well, the thing is, I think people realised that there was a lot of good young talent coming, so there was no one rushing to any stupid decisions last year. And Liam and Mikey were kept in place, and obviously that was the right call. Hartnett. Ben Conroy, another one who has never let the side down today. Outnumbered there, outfought. Tipperary have it back. Trying to get under this one is Purcell. Purcell has it. Trying to get away from the tackle of Peter McGarry. Here's Keys. Keys off the stick, and well, he was under a lot of pressure, so that was always going to be difficult.
Yeah, great tracking by Brian O'Mara there and Johnny Ryan, both of them, but very, very difficult to get the ball away against this Tip team at the moment. They're actually locked in defensively. I think they're playing far better defensive game in the second half than they did in the first.
Michael Breen. O'Farrell gets it under control. Beautiful control. Brian O'Mara. Dropping it into that full forward line. Laois have an extra man back there. It's Mullaney who intercepts it. Good ball into the lova of Lennon. But Lennon couldn't keep a hold of it. Coming away with it is Jason Ford, who gives it off to Alan Tynan. Tynan. Still Tynan. Tynan. They're looking to work the goal. It's Darragh McCarthy. McCarthy going this way and that. McCarthy has to go back outside to John McGrath. McGrath.
That's super defending from Laois. Wow.
Great work. The game is done. The results, well, we know what that's going to be. But Laois are not giving up, much to their credit. Paddy Purcell. Good powerful running by Paddy Purcell, and that's a beautiful flick. Purcell stays going. Sam O'Farrell comes back to tackle him and does really well.
Great from O'Farrell, but heartbreaking for Purcell. Gee, he done everything right there.
Well, we mentioned the O'Farrell flick earlier on, but that is a clip that the management will pull out in the positive. It breaks for Darragh McCarthy, just gets away from there. I beg your pardon, that's not Darragh. No, it's Oisin O'Donoghue, I beg your pardon.
Yep.
Two bright young forwards, both wear the white helmets, and both very effective. Oisin O'Donoghue almost getting in there, the Cashel King Cormac man.
Oh, great
trying to
disposition.
pickpocket Mullaney.
Yeah, he did really well. All he had to do was get the ball to stick, but Clear came in swinging. And that was what the free was for. Great disposition by O'Donoghue, because Mullaney was absolutely the best man position for that.
Here's Darragh McCarthy.
Lee Clear gets a yellow card, but no, he's not short of energy and commitment, that man. He is an absolute leader for Laois.
The rain beginning to fall again. Darragh McCarthy puts it over. Raining scores for Tipperary today. And for Darragh McCarthy, McCarthy on 9 points as Tipperary make a switch with Brian McGrath coming in for Craig Morgan.
Brian McGrath is a guy that I think is a super hurler, just struggling to get into the team, so even these minutes will help him.
Another one off the Lockmore, Castellini, McGrath production line. Alan Tynan. Tipperary playing around with this one. Here's Seamus Kennedy. Brian McGrath. Scoops it. Finds his man. Darragh McCarthy. Brian McGrath in there battling along with his teammate. And it's into the hand of John Lennon. As the umbrellas begin to get opened up here. Here's James Keys. Intercepted by Joe Caesar. Crossfield it goes. McGarry. Tynan.
Good shooting from Tynan, but that is fatigue for Laois. 6 days later after a tough game in Croke Park, just unable to close down the bodies. Poor Jordan Walsh there, just, the legs are empty.
Well, Darragh McCarthy is getting a well-deserved rest. He has been replaced by Joe Fogarty from Moneygall on the Tip-Offaly border. Fogarty very mobile, very hard-working. Has an All-Ireland at under 20 level. Seamus Kennedy went for it there, but it's David Dooley who gets to it, and again just couldn't keep the possession. Peter McGarry. Well taken out in front despite the conditions. Then he slips, commentator's curse. Gets the shot away, that is Joe Fogarty, but it's not a score. McGrath following it up, but Dunn gets there. McGrath making it awkward for Dunn. Ford in there as well. McGrath trying to dig it out. Laois get bodies around the ball. Donncha Hartnett. And Hartnett steals away and is fouled. A hard-won free.
Yeah, John McGrath just refused to let easy ball out. Again, the best forwards that I've ever played against have been really, really difficult to get past. Joe Canning was one of the best defenders, on-ball defenders that I've ever come across in my life. John McGrath, Noel, they refuse to let easy ball past them, and as a defender that's challenging. And Carl Dunn did nothing wrong, but he still managed to turn over the ball.
Pádraig Dunn has replaced Ryan Mullaney. Laois looking for some more scores, make that scoreboard look a little bit more positive. Joe Caesar getting his hand out of his Noel McGrath, or Brian McGrath, beg your pardon. Laois get the snapshot away, but it goes wide.
From Lennon, yeah. Again, who's in the thick of that but Tomas Keys, breaking ball, winning ball, giving everything right to the end.
Stroked out to O'Mara. Farmed forward by Breen. Read very well by Tom Cuddy. And Cuddy leaves it behind, trying to get it up now is Fiachra Fennell. But Tip have turned it over, and it's Oisin O'Donoghue. Tynan outside. They'll go for it to Jason Ford, who gets it.
Super unselfish play again from the Tipperary forwards. Pass the ball to the man in the best position. Tynan to Ford over the bar. Good play.
Yeah. Good policing there by Johnny Ryan.
As if Jason Ford needed time to strike. He's such a good ball striker.
Yeah. You give him time, you give him space, he'll do damage. Was that a foul off the ball? It was on Joe Fogarty. Cleaning off the slitter, Sam O'Farrell. Speaking of slitters, it has been confirmed today that smart slitters will be used from county semi-finals onwards at junior, intermediate and senior grade from this year. Jason Ford will strike the free. Sam O'Farrell was tidying or cleaning it off.
Does that mean my shots will go over?
That means your shots will go over, yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah. That's good news for everybody.
And the ones that don't, you can say there was a data issue. Here's Pádraig Dunn.
Glitch.
Jason Keys. James Keys. Drops it in on top of that full forward line. Well taken, but a great block on Mossy Keys' shot. Falls the way of David Dooley. He couldn't quite get a tip, keep it going by any means necessary. Michael Breen with a good old-fashioned pull on the ground as the rain is bucketing down. It breaks kindly for Tipperary. Away they go. Has he got the power and the pace? It's McGarry. McGarry! Oh, unlucky off the woodwork and then tidied up by Lee Clear. After a great run, McGarry thought he was going to get a goal, but he was denied by the woodwork.
Wow, the pace from McGarry there as he just absolutely knifed through the middle. Great run from him. You can see it here, trailed by Cuddy. Look at this cut onto the right. Dunn was just looking at it. There was nothing to be done about it. All he could do was watch. Puck out here for Carl.
Yep. Done. It is a real downpour, a real deluge here in Portlaoise at the moment. Here's Aaron Dunphy. Dunphy had the runner outside. That's John Lennon. Conroy. Laois need a score, but they won't get it now.